Yeah.
Myra, do you have 1 second, quick?
Of course.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. We'll see if I know what to do.
I haven't been missing 2 days, so. Okay, so this is where you check.
Nope. Why does yours looks different than mine?
I don't know. I've never seen it missing that.
Yeah, it's missing things. How did that happen?
Talent.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
We're just gonna reload it. See if it gets better. Aha! It got better.
Oh, perfect.
And you're already logged in?
Oh, thank you.
Well, I don't know how I did it, but you're welcome.
Magic.
Computer world. That's what we've received, and only 50% of the way through the year.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to rely on the paper one. Going through that without the motions is like.
Charges for services.
Well, I was in the other one first, and it said no internet, so I switched to traditional. We're back to
That's the budget.
It's not saying that.
Right on time, Chris.
Oh, no worries. You got 9 seconds to go. I'm used to old numbers. I'll give you a couple there too. Jeez, that's cold.
We do need.
Might not work. It's You tell me when you're ready. Voice vote for a minute. Maybe. All right, I will call this meeting to order. It is 7:31, and the next thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can we have roll call, please?
Mayor Terry Wycombe,
Here.
Vice Mayor Steve Sanger,
Here.
Councilmember Darrell Gardner,
Here.
Councilmember Tanya Lumen,
Here.
Councilmember Bruce Seelow,
Here.
Councilmember Jacqueline Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Chris Weidenberg.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next thing on our agenda is the agenda, approval of the agenda. This is where you can remove or add anything to the agenda that doesn't require an action item. So at this time, I would entertain a motion. Vice Mayor Sanger.
I move to approve the January 16th, 2024 City Council agenda as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the January 16th, 2024 City Council agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the consent agenda. Councilman Wells.
I move to approve the city consent agenda January 16, 2024 as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the city council consent agenda January 16, 2024 as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is a public hearing, and at this time, I will open a public hearing concerning approving the transfer of Rock Creek Hospitality LLC DBA Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail Liquor License to number 89, license number 89, excuse me, to Peppermill Bar and Grill LTD DBA Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail Liquor License number 89. Is there anybody here that would like to speak at this public hearing? Seeing none, I will close that public hearing and open up another public hearing, which is the second reading and waive the reading of Rawlins Municipal Code, amending title number 6.04.070, Animals, Nuisance and Vicious Animals. Is there anybody here that would like to speak during that public hearing? Seeing none, I will close that public hearing and we will move on to the next item on our agenda, which is citizens' participation. This is the time set aside by resolution number 2C-96, which sets a time of 5 minutes for citizens to address the council on anything that is not on the agenda. Is there anybody here that would like to speak to the council on anything like that? Seeing none, we will move on to the next thing on our agenda is the Board of Adjustments appointment. Councilman Wells.
I move to reappoint Ann Terry Zell to the Board of Adjustments for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
Second it.
There's been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Ann Terry Zell to the Board of Adjustments for a term ending January 31st, 2027. And before I ask for votes, I would like, Ann Terry, I know you're here, I'd like you to come up front and tell us, you know, why you would like to be reappointed to this board.
Put my name? Yeah. Okay. Hello, I'm Ann Terry Ezel, and this last year I was on the Board of Adjustments. I had taken Bruce Seeloff's spot, and I'd like to stay on there because I've learned a lot and starting to understand more of what goes on within the city.
How long have you been on there?
Just
a
1 year.
year.
Just
Okay.
1 year.
All right. Anybody have any questions of Ann Terry? Well, thank you for applying. All right. Any further discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right. Thank you, Ann Terry. All right. Councilman Weisenberg.
I'd move to appoint Christina Lynn, who has served since March 7th, 2023, to the Board of Adjustments for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
Second. Go ahead.
There's been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Christina Lynn to the Board of Adjustments for a term ending January 31st, 2027. Is there any discussion? And I know Christina's not here.
She was not able to make it.
Right. Any discussion? Okay, thank you. Open online voting, please.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. And Christina, if you're listening, thank you. All right, next thing on our agenda is Planning and Zoning Commission appointments. There are 3 openings. I would entertain a motion. Councilman Wells?
I move to reappoint Panita Mayberry to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Panita Mayberry to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027. Panita, would you like to please get up and tell us why you would like to stay on that Planning and Zoning
Thank
Commission?
you, Honorable Mayor and Council. I truly enjoy my time with the Planning and Zoning Commission. I've been with the board since 2018 or 19, and it really helps to have the time on the board to get to understand the history of how things have proceeded, and everything is really, there's so much interconnectivity within a lot of what the Planning and Zoning Commission does, and it is such an integral part of this community. And as a citizen, it is one of my favorite boards to sit on. Thank you.
Well, thank you for applying. Does anybody have any questions? Benita? All right. Any comments? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. We have 2 other openings. I would entertain a motion. Councilman Weisenberg?
I move to appoint Patricia Patty Hayes to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Patty Hayes, Patricia Hayes, to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027. Patty's not here, I don't think. I didn't see her, okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. There's one more opening and one more applicant. I would entertain a motion. Councilman Weisenberg?
I'd move to reappoint Cheryl Bailey to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
I'll second.
Been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Cheryl Bailey to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027. I don't think Cheryl's here, is she?
She was not, was not able to attend.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Councilman Weisenberg?
I just want to say I serve on that board, and it's a very well-flowing board, and these individuals that's applied have served this community in a good aspect in that board. So I would reserve anything on this, let's say, nothing less of they need to be reappointed.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right. Oh, I'll open online voting. I think it is.
Online voting is open.
Thank you.
Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the Police Civil Service Commission appointment. Councilman Lumen?
Move to reappoint Robert Stipe to the Police Civil Service Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to reappoint Robert Stipe to the Police Civil Service Commission for a term ending January 31st, 2027. And I don't think Robert's here, is he?
No.
He did fall ill.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
and emailed the council.
All right, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. Next thing on our agenda is city council reports, and I've added ward updates, board of adjustments, and Ward 1 update if you have any. Councilman Seeloff?
I don't have anything on the Board of Adjustments, but I have got several complaints on the south side over there because of the cats. They've just really multiplied this last year. I mean, real bad. So I don't know what we need to do, but I've had several people complain about them. And then the other thing is the underpass down there. I don't know if when they put the new lights in, they tore it down to put it up or what. Evidently the mesh underneath is gone, and the pigeons are just plumb thick under there. I mean, they've got PCs all the way through there, just stacked on the sides and everything, and on everyone's car when they drive through there. So several complaints on that. So that's it.
All right, thank you. The next person is me, which is Carbon County Council of Governments and Ward 1 update. Carbon County Council of Governments was supposed to meet tomorrow in the Carbon Building. However, with the weather and having people travel from all over the county to come here, that has been postponed until next Tuesday. So I'll give a report at the next meeting, and I really don't have anything for Ward 1 update.
Is that
Then-
at 5:30, Terry?
What, excuse me?
What time was that?
I think it's,
6:30, you said, Mayor? 6:30.
okay,
That's what you,
that could be,
yes.
I can't remember. If it's different than that, I will let you all know.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is the DDA Main Street and Ward 3 update. Vice Mayor Sanger.
So I'm going to defer to Pam, who was unable to be here at our last meeting, for her regular update. So I'm going to defer to her, and I don't have anything in Ward 3 on my updates.
Okay, thank you.
Pam?
Honorable Council, I think am I going during regular
Yeah,
report?
it's during staff report.
Okay.
So
You're
that's
going to do it?
Okay.
Is that
That'll
all
work,
right,
yeah.
Mayor? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. All righty. So we'll move on to Rawlins Planning Commission and Ward 3 update. Councilman Weisenberg.
I have no updates at this time.
Okay. Urban Systems Committee and Ward 2 update. Councilman Garner.
I think our meeting's coming up in the next month or two. I missed the last meeting, so I'm gonna have to reach out and try to find out when that is. It's usually the first quarter though of the year, so I'll get that and I'll get that to everybody. And then as far as Ward 3, biggest concern still is Edinburgh Street not being completed, and in a timeline on that to kicked off, hopefully sooner than later.
Okay, thank you. Next one is Ward 2 update. Councilman Lumen.
I just want to thank all the city workers for going out and plowing in freezing temperature and taking care of our city as best as they can. It's really appreciated to get people where they need to go.
All right. Next is member large, Council Member Wells.
The only thing I have to report is that I received a very lengthy letter about our cemetery and how it looks. And so I forwarded that to you, Tom, tonight. So concerned citizen about the cemetery and how it looks.
Okay, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is a shooting range advisory board update. And I will turn the floor over to the shooting range advisory board.
Honorable Mayor, council members, good evening. I want to start off by thanking Mr. Sarvey for coming to our last meeting. The people that I spoke to that have been on that advisory board for a long time said they have never had a city manager come to one of their meetings previously. So thank you for coming. One of the things that he did bring out to us is we're working on ways to help the range pay a larger percentage of its shooting expenses. As you can see, we currently have 8 board members.
It's okay. I can go ahead and do that.
We currently have 8 board members. I'm James Shearer. This is James Ainsworth. So you got stuck with the Jim and Jim deal tonight.
Double team.
We have quite a bit that goes on out at this range. And we really want to thank you for allowing us to continue to provide this for the city.
And on the indoor range, things that have happened so far in last year were the fragment barrier, which is the heavy curtains at the end of the range that help stop recoils and ricochets. That's all been replaced. New lighting was installed out there. It made a big difference changing the lighting from incandescent system to an LED system. It's much, much better out there now on it. It also helps along in the tournaments when shooters actually move down range and back range on it. And just recently, the office in the indoor range was new carpet was replaced. There are several projects that are in process now. The new indoor shooting range lane barriers will be are waiting to be installed. That project has been delayed, and the indoor range has been closed since November on it. And along with that particular project, there will be new flooring placed in the range, but that can't be done until after the new barriers are installed. Lighting is scheduled to be repaired and replaced as needed. We do occasionally lose a light bulb over that downrange. And the installation of the new range lane barriers will also include updated target controls from the contractor that bought the system from the original contractors on the installation.
On the outdoor range, what we have at the outdoor range is a 300-yard rifle range. We have a 1,000-yard rifle range. We have, I believe it's 9 pistol ranges, an archery range, including an elevated section, a 5-stand, and skeet and trap shooting. The improvements we've tried to do this year, we've tried to improve the entrance road. We've made improvements to the 1,000-yard range, including the road that goes down the side of that. There's been repairs to the office. It's had a new roof replaced on it. We've tried to make repairs to the skeet and trap ranges. We've made them so they function as well as they're going to currently. We have an outdoor range master plan that was done back in 2006 when the council originally approved doing this range. And we're working on updating that with what's been done, what still needs to be done, so that we can present that to you, because that will make a big difference on what we can get in grants and money from outside sources, which we all need. There's a 3D walking archery range being planned. It's waiting on a grant to come through on that. That will be going out behind where the current pistol ranges are. And we've updated safety-related projects. We're trying to keep down on ricochets, trying to work on the berms to make sure they're tall enough so that nothing goes across to interfere with anyone else. We've also put up a new sign we have a new sign, it's not up yet, for the entry, the big ranch entryway, the big pipe there. We have a new sign to hang there so that we can attract people's attention, because there's so many people that don't even know we're there.
One other thing that we do both at the indoor and outdoor ranges are tournaments. We have had In the past, we have had long-range shooting, 1,000-yard range. Our action pistol not only is a tournament, but called the Silver Bullet Tournament, but that also has a weekly league at the indoor range on it. There are steel matches. Again, these are pistol matches, the state steel match and a knockdown steel match. There is a regular cowboy action meeting at the outdoor range on it, and the inaugural Glock match, which took place last fall, there were over 100 shooters that attended that particular tournament from all over the country, basically. Wow. The outdoor people really like the way that our range is set up. We've had many, many compliments from shooters from out of state and out of Rawlins.
At our ranges, we try and hold classes in firearm safety, classes in concealed carry. These classes, including hunter ed, bring people into the shooting range. They introduce them to it so that they can understand that it's there, and hopefully these will then become members. We do need to increase our membership, and we want people to know that there's a nice, well-kept, safe place for people to go shooting. The law enforcement in the area uses our range for qualification and for training. There's at least 2 agencies that regularly use our facilities that are not part of Rawlins expenses. So we want to make sure that that continues to happen.
The other things that we offer at the outdoor shooting range is a free sight-in day before the hunting season actually starts on it, and that is usually pretty well attended. There were 3 of these sight-in days at the outdoor range last year. They focused on the rifle range, of course, that's a hunting situation, but all the ranges are available for use free at that time on those sight-in days. There were, an estimation is that there were over 150 shooters who used the range on each one of these free sight-in days. It is very, very popular with local hunters and with tourist hunters that come into Rawlins to hunt in this area here. For the daily use, there were over 584 daily use fees paid. This does not include the tournament participation or free sight-in days or classes. It doesn't include law enforcement, hunter safety, hunter education program, the Junior Rifle League, or range memberships, as you can see on it. The outdoor range and the indoor range also get very well used when we open them. One of the main programs that we have going on are youth programs. One is the Junior Rifle League that, as a matter of fact, Jim and I both instruct at Junior Rifle League. I've been doing the Junior Rifle League for a long time. As a matter of fact, this year would be my 31st year as a teacher in the Junior Rifle Range. It is a wonderful, wonderful program that concentrates on safety and eventually marksmanship. That is the last thing that we do in the Junior Rifle League. Last year, there were 37 shooters in the Junior Rifle Leagues between the ages of 8 and 11. 22 of those 37 were brand new 8 to 9-year-old shooters. It is, if you get the chance, you should come out and watch it. It is absolutely amazing to see these kids, how quickly they learn and how eager they are to learn about safety and firearms. There are 4-H programs, archery and rifle and shotgun, all 3 with 4-H instructors. And about 35 participants just in the rifle portion of the 4-H program. We are trying to develop an additional programming, a high school skeet team. One of our other board members is working on that with the superintendent of schools of District 1 here in Rawlins. All right, that is a countrywide program that works out very, very well if it can be done. There are other locations here in Wyoming. Cody is one, and I believe Douglas is the other one that have that program going. There are also hunter safety classes that use the ranges that they say over 100. Over the length of time that we've been doing hunter safety, it's been a lot more than 100. But anyway, that's where that program stands. And as a matter of fact, there is a hunter education class coming up week after next.
As you can see by that chart, the membership has fluctuated up and down. Last year we had 81 members. We'd like to increase that. The membership, we need to do a membership drive somehow of increasing the people that use our range. When I say our range, I don't mean mine, I don't mean Jim's, I mean the city of Rawlins. It's all of our city range. But I think part of the problem is people don't know that we have that range there. There's a lot of questions about where can I shoot?
Can I ask a question? When you
Certainly.
say we're trying to increase membership, at a membership, it costs money, and what do you get for it?
You get to use the range as much as you'd like.
I see.
You don't have to pay a daily fee. If you go out there all the time, it's much more beneficial to use a membership as opposed to paying a daily entrance fee. And one of the things we're trying to do to encourage more members is we're trying to come up with a process of, or a list of other benefits that we could then offer, which will have to get approved through you. But we'd like to offer other benefits to encourage people to be members that would give us a more constant cash flow into the city so that we could then cover more of our expenses. As said before, we're working on the master plan. This was done originally in 2006, way before I got here, unfortunately. But there's so much that was on there that has not been done. Some of it we're not going to be able to do because there just isn't funding for it. Some of it we've applied for grants to try and help us with, but we need to bring that all up to date. We need to make sure that what has been done is listed on there as being done. It's finished. We don't have to think about that anymore. And then prioritize what's left on there, what needs to be done, what needs to be done next, what can be put off for a while. But if we don't continue to improve, we just fall apart. We want to focus on safety. We want to focus on utilizing this range. We need to make sure that it's used a lot. And when we do finish our updates, of course, we will bring that here because we need you to approve it. Hopefully that will be soon.
And as far as the board itself goes, the members of the board do participate in several things. All of the board members attended and are now certified as range safety officers through the National Rifle Association. Some of the city staff also attended those courses, along with the rifle instructor for the 4-H program. The meetings and workshops added up to over 250 hours. Work projects that the board participated in, over 150 hours combined from members of the board. Community relation events, the last one was the Summerfest program. We had a booth downtown that was well attended. Again, we learned that a lot of people didn't know that the range was there. But in education program, over 350 hours total. We work hard on improving safety, and that includes, of course, all the junior rifle and all the other classes that we run on the thing. Board is also, last fall, volunteered their own time to keep the outdoor range open a little bit longer, depending on weather, since the indoor range did not open in November, on the 1st of November, as it normally did. That really only lasted 3 weeks until the weather finally shut it down. That's the main problem with the outdoor range being open is the weather. State thing.
The state legislature has recently passed a bill to create a state shooting range, which we as a board are interested in this, but we really want to make sure that we don't get stuck with something that we can't afford. We want to make sure that, like I said, we'd like to have it here. It would bring a lot of people into Rawlins, but the state has to, in this, commit to additional annual funding for staffing, for maintenance, and for future range improvements. If they're not willing to commit to that, I don't believe that we could commit to having the state range here, as much as we'd like to. We just can't afford it. And again, we want to thank the council for all that you've done for us. We want to thank Mr. Sarvey for all that he's done. He brought us a bunch of numbers and explained where we are and what we're doing. And we just hope that you all come out. We'd like to have any of you that want to be at one of our meetings. We're always willing to let you come in and sit and talk with us. We'd love it. And again, thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Council. We'd like to do one more thing. We would like to invite you all to attend the grand reopening of the indoor range, and the details will be forthcoming on that as soon as we can get the contractor to get busy. Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Councilman Weisenberg has something.
Yeah, I just heard you say about the master plan that some things are not, goals are not reachable and obtainable because of funding and stuff like that. I just would like to see, because when that master plan was built and the range was built, years ago now, they put a master plan together and had a site, a vision, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it was a great vision back then, and I'd like to still see that vision be made and understand that just because it might not be obtainable today, it might be obtainable tomorrow.
No, we're not going to take anything off.
No, there won't, anything that has not been accomplished with the original master plan is going to stay in the master plan.
Okay.
For example, a new clubhouse with a classroom and an indoor shooting range.
Awesome.
That is an awesome project.
One of the things that was on that master plan was a complete recreational camping area with water and sewer. Well, water and sewer aren't possible right now, so that's down the road.
Yeah, I just don't want to lose sight, right?
No.
And like I said, what might not be obtainable today because of budget constraints might be obtainable tomorrow.
Yes.
So.
And I would like to give you these. This is from the council and staff, and it's a very small thank you, but it's for the board. Thank the board for all your hard work.
Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're certainly welcome.
I did forget to mention that our board president is here. He's hiding back here.
He's the supervisor in the back, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate what you do. That's a great shooting range, and the board does a lot of work. Doesn't just sit around talking. I've seen it over the years. Go out there and get dirty and work, and I definitely appreciate it. So thank you. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is city manager, city attorney, and staff report. So I'll turn the floor over to you first, Tom.
All right, thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. I'd like to thank the shooting board for having me out the other night. It was a very good meeting, and I really enjoyed being there. And tomorrow night, I'm going to meet with the golf advisory board, so I look forward to that as well. We have a couple staff updates tonight. First off, I'd like to have Pam Thayer come. She's going to give you an update about DDA and what they have going there. So,
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. You guys should have a couple things in front of you. First of all, everybody got a keychain. We did a promotion over the holidays, but we'll do a summer promotion, but this is a call to action on the keychain. Is just, you got shop small businesses, shop small, eat small, whatever. But I think the call to action is I support. I think so, and we had a really good response over the holidays. So each of you guys got a keychain. Exciting. We always try to come back and really take a hard evaluation on programs, projects, what we're doing, how it helps our ROI for grants, for accountability. And so in front of you, you have just some of the 2023 key outcomes. Of course, looking at the splash pad grand opening, of course, was up there on the top, but hosted 10 events this past year. Sometimes it runs anywhere from 10. I was going back on previous ones. Some of them are up to 25, just with less staffing, but 10 solid events this year. We had the board went through and prioritized with less staff and what we were going to keep, and so 8 new businesses in the downtown, and 71 current on top of that, so that's always a great number to see. Almost 70,000 in fundraising, and we always let people know that that's specifically for projects and events. So it does not go to any kind of staffing and employees. It goes, so when they fund or fundraise or we get grants, it goes directly to projects and events. 3,900, almost 4,000 in volunteer hours. Our highest year ever was about 4,600, but still almost 4,000. If you look at the sector, volunteer sector, it's running at $31 an hour. Times 4,000, so you're talking over 100,000 again in value. That is, the independent sector is a national organization that gets a dollar amount, and that was for 2023. So we're over $100,000 in volunteer. I mean, the shooting range was talking. I mean, we would not be, the downtown, the program, the organization would not be what it is without all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of volunteer. Some really cool things. So you're getting the overview, but something that we really worked hard on the last third and fourth quarter were making sure that what we're doing with our funding and our money is in advertising and marketing for the downtown and for the businesses. So you can see that this year we did launch a new website in 2022, the beginning of 2022. We've always felt like the website was pretty solid. But if you look at what we did in reaches in 2022, was a little over just 3,000, almost 3,100, and just reworking and making sure, we tell so many organizations, Facebook is so important, Instagram is so important, but you don't own it. At any time you can be in Facebook jail, Instagram jail, so you own your website. So we doubled our website reaches in 2023. And so our goal is to hit over that 10, that first was a big jump, so we're trying to shoot for 10,000 for 2024. Impressions, almost a 500,000 impressions. That's like the whole state. So when you're looking at reaches versus impressions, you of course want to grow your reaches because those are people coming to your Facebook page. But what we really look at is when you're selling advertising, you're always looking at your impressions. Like, how many impressions am I getting for that print ad? How many impressions am I getting for that radio ad? And what are your reaches and your quality? So impressions really, and we're going to have a Facebook, little Facebook 101 put out this first quarter and really explain the difference to anybody from the Business Innovation Hub, what the difference is between reaches, impressions, because you kind of get lost. But basically, your reaches, your impressions are always going to be the same as your reaches, but you really want your impressions to be more because that is your quality of what you're advertising. So almost $250,000. You can see that our best year previously was in 2019 at 332. And on top of that, we can't read our impressions when we share our downtown merchants or the hub shares anybody's. So if we share, we can't see the data when we share other. So to give you an idea, in December, we shared 66 posts from the downtown merchants, and we can't even get the impressions on top of that. So that, of course, December is always higher when we share, but we probably share at least once a day, or sometimes, some days there's not any shares, and the next day it's 2. But you're talking 65 shares with no impression or reach data on that, because they get it. But what's interesting is we talked about, I'm gonna kind of key in a couple merchants that really do a good job on their Facebook and see if we can, if they tag us, then we should also be able to see those reaches and impression. And or an example I was using Holly at Serendipity is she can tell when we share. Like, she'll do a post and she'll be reaching in impressions at such an amount, but then she can see, she'll go back and look. If she jumps in her reaches and impressions, she'll go back and see that it potentially had to do, because then we increased her footprint by shares and impressions. Yeah, almost this whole amount of the state. Pretty cool. Of course, our lighting project, I did a picture of the pinks and the purples getting ready, but we may throw in some state regional basketball and maybe flip up the color before Valentine's with some red and black or red and white for Outlaws. Again, continued downtown beautification that we do every year. Just wanted to remind everybody all the different stuff, the commercial exterior paint program, the banner program, flower pots, all the things. The Business Innovation Hub, we assisted with the Carbon County Startup Challenge. 23 were submitted last year. We have a meeting to finalize the Startup Challenge tomorrow, so we should get ready to rock and roll on that. And then the Business Consulting and Mentorship is 45 plus. It has dropped quite a bit due to staffing. I just have not been able to meet with people. That's me, myself, and I. So we were tracking a lot more, but in the end, still 45 plus businesses for the year. And again, I think it's important to realize that we're a 32-year-old organization with 17 years using the Main Street approach, and that we are a city ordinance through approval through this Rawlins City Council, and just that what we're trying to do. And then we also received a UTV, which was made possible by HF Sinclair. Wanted to give them some shout outs. So any questions? I feel like even though we had some staffing decreases, we're a little worried when I started putting this together what the numbers were going to be. But Myra's been over helping, and we've just had some amazing volunteers to finish out the year strong.
I got to tell you that the lights on the poles downtown are so awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see the next ones that
Yeah, and the
run
colors,
across
yeah. Yeah.
run across the street and whatnot. I think it's the coolest thing ever, Pam.
Well, thanks. It's all teamwork, and we have a few out right now, and the electrician can't get up on the poles. It's been windy. We're working between the two, but we're hoping by the end of the month we get them all back on, and just getting some bumps. There's always bumps and bruises when we start a project. So.
Yeah, and I sure, as nice as it is outside now, I sure, I'd put it off if I were them.
Yeah, climb up on a pole. Yeah, and then there were a couple ones like, maybe I could go look, and my husband's like looking at me like,
human flagpole.
I'm not gonna go up a light pole right now. Do a lot of crazy things, but maybe I need to think about my craziness right now. So, any questions, guys? And then this will be, we'll get shared. The other last component, which I wanted to get this to you guys tonight, and we'll get this out, is the Gems of the Downtown. We launched the Gems program, which helped in the fundraising. This is one of our largest, besides large projects, like when we got the Rainbow Teton and the streetscaping and splash pad. I mean, largest without a large project, 70,000. And what we'll do on the backside is we'll have a backside, and we'll actually have a recap of the GEMS investment program. So, questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for your continued support.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, Honorable Mayor, one of the areas that we're going to start picking up activity on now is on our water transmission line project. And so we would like to start giving the council more updates on that as we gear up, so that the council can always kind of know where we're at. So tonight I have Cody Dill, our Public Works Director, here, and he will update you kind of where we're at today on our water.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor, Council. apologies for not being here last time. I know there was a few questions about water, so I wanted to just kind of come and touch base with you guys and let you know that, we are wanting to start moving forward on, we have the design money for all the phases on our project and looking at some funding for construction. So moving forward, we'll be keeping you guys in the loop on how soon we're going to get some stuff rolling out. I know that there were some questions about the water, and so I kind of want to do a little question and answer with you guys tonight. If you guys have any questions on where we're at, what we're thinking, I'd love to answer some questions. Right now, our water is doing good. So we're getting about 1.5 million gallons a day in still. We had a tremendous amount of water this summer. Everybody knows that. We pretty much lived on our springs all summer long. With the project that we did, that trunk line last winter, or the winter before, we're not quite sure on how much, we're building new data on it. So basically, we got to go through a few years to figure out how effective it's going to be. But years past, we know that the snowfall out there kind of tells us a lot about what our water is going to be like in the spring and summer. We know that if there's not a lot of snow out there, which in summer that we had our water restrictions, end of year, I think we had around 36 to 40 inches of snow out there. Last year on the heavy snow year, we were looking at probably over 120. We like to be at about 72 is a good year for us. Right now we're sitting at about 36, so we're doing pretty good out there after this last weekend's snow. But I just kind of wanted to come in, just kind of talk to you guys about water. Any questions or?
Well, I think the main concern is, and we're all getting asked the same question, is, what do we have to look forward to this summer?
Usually we don't get our heavy snows into, February, March. So it's really hard to tell what our water is going to be like until about April. But right now we're on track for looking pretty good. We're at or a little above what we had as far as a full season of snow in our water restriction summer. So we're okay. And so with the heavy months coming, I'm thinking that we should be okay with water, but it's really preliminary. So we're just gonna have to see as the snow falls. I'm sure I'll be talking about it this winter. If we start getting a lot of snow, I'll let you guys know that we're gonna do okay. We watch the snow tail out there pretty regularly.
Well, and the pretreatment plant is like a safety valve, if I might. So if, let's just say it doesn't snow anymore, can we still use that? I mean, will that pretreatment plant suffice?
The pretreatment plant is capable of about 1 million gallons a day.
I see.
We get about another 1 million out of our wells, and we've had our wells off for almost 2 years now. We used them for about 4 weeks this summer, and so they've been replenishing. So we would be getting probably 2 million gallons a day in if we were just using wells and the pretreatment. There will be a time working on some of this construction stuff where we're going to have to shut the spring line down. And the only construction season is in the summertime. So there will be periods of time where we may have to ask the residents to go on restrictions because we're going to have the line down for a little while because we have to do construction on it. Hopefully it's a very short period of time. But as these phases start getting put out, there will be odd spots throughout summer where we're going to be worried about, high turbidity levels, slugs coming down. If we're working on our spring boxes and the lines out there, we're going to have to kind of watch that. The blow-offs, the air vacs, when we go to do that, we have to shut the transmission line down to fix all that stuff. We're hoping that can be short periods of time that we do that. But with all this work that we'd like to do out there, we are really looking forward to the amount of water that we can get out of it. We know it's out there. We just got to go get it.
And with all of our tanks and reservoirs full.
Yeah,
if we can keep them that way, except for construction times.
We are still, to this day, we are sending up, I want to say, about 500,000 gallons of water into Atlantic Rim, which is overflowing into Rim Lake. So we are completely topped off and filling up Rim Lake at this point too.
I knew Rim Lake was full. We went out there the other day. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we have a tremendous amount of water. And we really think it has something to do with the construction that has already been done out there, that new trunk line. and the intake system that we have on the top on the connection points up there. We really think it is helping us out, but it's going to take a few years of data. We have to have some good years and some bad years to really get the numbers and knowing where we're going to be at. But right now, it's looking like it's really helping us.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Councilman Weisberg?
I just know the report said we were somewhere in the range of like 30-some%, and over the weekend it jumped to mid-60s.
It did tremendously jump over this week. That was a good snow for up there. And so seeing that and knowing that February and March are usually our heavy years for snowfall, or heavy months for snowfall, I should say, I really feel good about it. I don't feel good about all the snow that we're having to clean up out of the city, but I like the snow out in the mountains.
Just needs to learn where the snow at.
Stop out there.
The other thing you're mentioning about having to shut it down possibly multiple times, and I understand the tie-ins and stuff like that that'll probably end up happening. But are they, in the design, is that what we're pushing for possibly, is to lay a second line next to the original line or wherever we can, and then make minimal work at that time, and then with the tie-ins?
And that's definitely something that we're talking about now, doing a whole double line, which I would really like to see out there whenever. That's a pretty big job. But I think with a lot of the blow-offs, we can do hot taps, which we can do them live. So there's be certain times where we're just kind of shutting it down for a little bit for doing air vacs when we tie those in.
That's on the old existing
That's existing line, yeah.
But if we're running if the funding comes through for a whole new line, is what I'm kind of reaching out at, right? Like, because you would just be able to put your blow-offs at that point without a live line.
Yeah, I would love, that would make it so much easier if we had a secondary line.
Like a heart bypass.
Yeah, pretty much. Preliminary cost for a new line is around $50 million. Bypass line, so it's hard to say. That's gonna have to come with all the engineers and the design on how we're gonna do these blow-offs. But I think we can do some of the blow-offs. Once we get a couple in, we can use those points as discharge points to keep the transmission line live to that point, and then do the next one, and then keep bringing it into town. And so it'd be short periods of time. But we're just not quite sure on how that's actually gonna work out yet. But there's a lot of ideas floating around on how to do that.
When that plan gets done, I think it'll be more vivid to you, what you will be able to and won't be able to do.
Yeah, and that's going to be the one that's going to be tricky, is the transmission line. What I'd like to see done as far as the spring boxes and up there in our collection areas is there's pretty much, if you look at it, there's two legs. There's our Beaver Creek side and our Sage Creek side. I'd like to split those into 2 different summers, have one done in one summer, and then get that slug out of it, and then we get clean water coming in and to do the other one. That way we're not going up there and touching all of our collection water in one summer, because just on the trunk line when we did it, the next summer, just disturbing the earth, we had about 3 weeks of really nasty water coming in until that all cleared out, and the pretreatment tremendously helped us out on that. So.
Any other questions, comments? Well, Cody, appreciate what you do.
And I will keep everybody up to date. I think there's going to be a lot of work coming real soon, so it'll be kind of exciting in the next year to 2 years for the city. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I've got 3 dates for council to take some notes on. The first is on January 22nd, Monday, at 5 p.m., we will meet with the town of Sinclair on our bi-monthly water meeting with them, to where we can talk water. And that meeting will be at the Sinclair Town Hall. And that is January 22nd at 5 p.m. The second is January 30th at 5 p.m., we will do a special work session here in the council chambers. And what we will do is, I am currently working on a study of our rates and our fees that we charge throughout the city from everything from our water, sewer, landfill, recreation, shooting, right down to business licenses. And so we will start that at 5 o'clock, and what I'm hoping to do is get an agenda out as to the evening, and we will bring in different groups to discuss the different areas of the rates that we have. And so I'm putting together financial information and recommendations on those rates as to where they should be, and then we will have people here to ask questions to, and those types of things. And so that will probably be a long night with all the rates that we have. But that'll be the 30th at 5 p.m. And the last date that I have is the second part of the retreat, the special work session with council, and that'll be February 3rd. And that will begin at 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn, the same room that we met in December. And what we will do there is talk council goals, and that will lead into our strategic plan for the next year. And so that will be February 3rd at 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn. The only other thing tonight to report is that we do have our fiscal year 23 audit that we received from our auditors. We will go over that here shortly. That is marked as a draft, but that it was what they call the final draft. And so if council approves that, they will just take the draft off of it and issue the report probably tomorrow on that. And this is kind of a big deal because we were about 3 years behind about a year ago on our audits. And so this completely catches us up on our audits. So we'll be good until June 30th of 24 before our next audit. So, and we will go over that shortly as an agenda item. So.
And thank you, Tom, for catching that up. That was scary.
Yep.
It really was, to be that far behind.
Yep, but that's my report, so.
All righty. You have anything, Benita?
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council. Quick update regarding Civic Plus Municode. That is the online codification system of the ordinances. A contract was entered into at the end of March last year because of COVID, because of staffing issues, I believe, with Civic Plus and the Municode system. They had a considerable backlog. They are now starting our project. And so it goes through several phases where they will make sure that there are, everything is consistent, that everything conforms with state statutes, and any applicable federal laws as well. And then they ultimately will have it online. So as an example, if you would like to see what it looks like, the city of Cheyenne, I believe the city of Casper also use that. So if you look up, for example, Google search Cheyenne Municipal Code, it takes you to a site. And so that is what ours will look like, but with the Rawlins ordinances. They'll also provide binders. And this company actually had done the Rawlins Municipal Code back in 1978. And then it was self-managed and updated in the interim. Now we're going back to them, and it's just a really user-friendly, great way to be able to have our codes.
That will be amazing. That will get rid of a lot of bumps in the road, getting that done for sure.
Thanks for that update.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Benita?
There is the Title 19 has been a project that community development has been working on. Community development with legal, and as well as we roped in Myra with public relations. We are ready to push out a public comments period for Title 19 fences as they impact commercial and industrial businesses. And most notably junkyards, salvage yards, and anywhere that has storage of outdoor types of materials. The public comments period will be open through February 20th. There'll be different ways to submit public comments. Community development is sending letters out to known stakeholders so that they are immediately aware. And then Myra is pushing out announcements on radio, paper, Facebook, and comments will be able to be received by email, US mail, and Myra also developed an online form. So there is a lot of ways that the public can submit comments and provide feedback.
And when was the deadline?
Deadline will be through February 20th to submit comments. After that deadline closes, depending on the types of comments and if there's any additional considerations, it may require a workshop between community development and council to discuss some of the nuances and some of the challenges faced within this, but that is to be determined. And we hope to be able to give you an update after February 20th.
Okay. Any questions?
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So, let me get back over here. I got myself lost. All right. So the next thing on our agenda is direction from the city council to city manager, and I don't have anything. I think that'll end up being covered in the ward reports, but we're changing some things around to make it work better. But does anybody at this time have anything for Tom? Seeing nothing, we will move on to unfinished business. What it is it's an ordinance. It's a second reading of the let's see, here we go, of the vicious animal ordinance. Councilman Wells.
I move to approve the second reading and waive the reading of Rawlins Municipal Ordinance amending Title 604070, Animals, Nuisance, and Vicious Animals.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the second reading and waive the reading of Rawlins Municipal Ordinance amending Title 6.04.070, Animals, Nuisance, and Vicious Animals. Is there any discussion? Councilman Weisenberg?
Just so everybody's aware, I had brought some stuff to the attention of our attorney, and she had done some clarification for us, because state statute only allows you to fine so much and a misdemeanor and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you for doing that and clarifying that we are still in the rightful bounds of the amount of fines and stuff like that. So,
is there anything else? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is new business. And this is to ratify a memorandum of understanding between the City of Rawlins, Carbon County Treasurer, and the Assessor and Carbon County Board of Commissioners to establish and define the roles and duties of each party. This is something we've been waiting for a long time to clean up properties. Councilman Weisenberg?
I move to approve ratifying a memorandum of understanding between the City of Rawlins, Carbon County Treasurer, Carbon County Assessor, and Carbon County Board of County Commissioners to establish and define the roles, duties, and responsibilities each party shall undertake with respect to the city's filing a special assessment against real property for collection of the costs of cleaning up properties in Rawlins, Carbon County, Wyoming.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve ratifying a memorandum of understanding between the City of Rawlins, Carbon County Treasurer, Carbon County Assessor, and Carbon County Board of County Commissioners to establish and define the roles, duties, and responsibilities each party shall undertake with respect to the city's filing a special assessment against real property for collection of the costs of cleanup properties in Rawlins, Carbon County, Wyoming. Is there any discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. In regard to the MOU, as an adjunct to that is this special assessment is related to the abatement of dangerous buildings and structures. There is currently there are several properties in the city of Rawlins that fall under that definition of dangerous building or structure, for which we are in various stages of the process, which includes with a notice on that property or structure. And oftentimes that leads to a negotiation with the property owner in trying to figure out how to do it, which goes through a settlement process. It's formally called a settlement agreement, and that sets forth timelines. Sometimes a property owner just can't meet it, they don't have the funds, or they're completely absent and unwilling to comply with any of the requirements. And that's where this special assessment comes in, is that the city then takes over the process of actually abating the dangerous structure or building. So in that regard, the city would then need to go through the formal bidding process to get a contractor to undertake the abatement or destruction. A big part of that is because the city would have to front those expenses, is to the community development, the law, city attorney's office is in the process of setting up a meeting to make recommendations to council on what the priority of those might be, because it will require the city to front those expenses. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that is in the works.
Good, that's the third leg to the stool, getting it done. Is there any further comment? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
That is so awesome. Thank you. Next thing on our agenda is transfer of liquor license. Councilman Garner.
I move to approve the transfer of Rock Creek Hospitality LLC DBA Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail Liquor License number 89 to Peppermill Bar and Grill LTD, doing business as Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail Liquor License number 89, located at 1602 Inverness Boulevard, Rawlins, Wyoming.
Second.
In a motion made and seconded to approve the transfer of Rock Creek Hospitality LLC DBA Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail Liquor License number 89 to Peppermill Bar and Grill LTD, doing business as Peppermill Bar and Grill Retail License number 89, located at 1602 Inverness Boulevard. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, would you please open online voting?
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the Cheyenne Housing Authority. Councilman Wells.
I move to approve a local agent administrative contract with Cheyenne Housing Authority, hereby continue to provide our community with this vital and essential housing program, and waive reading of the agreement expiring January 31st, 2025.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve a local agent administrative contract with Cheyenne Housing Authority, hereby continue to provide our community with this vital and essential housing program, and waive the reading of the agreement expiring January 31st, 2025. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting has closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. Councilman Weisenberg.
I move to have Rawlins Council to approve and adopting the new 2015 Wyoming Public Works Standard Specification Manual effective immediately. There's no date there.
Yes, it should be immediately. I am so sorry.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded to have Rawlins City Council approve and adopt the new 2015 Wyoming Public Works Standard Specifications Manual effective immediately. Is there any discussion? And Cody, I would, if Councilman Weisenberg.
I was just gonna ask real fast, instead of effective immediately, would it be better to put the date as January 17th, 2024? I'd make that as a friendly admission.
I'll friendly second that.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell us about it, Cody. I did read the book, and if you have anything to add, we're all ears.
No, it's just, this is really going to help us out in the future, just getting projects designed and rolled out in a more efficient manner. Hopefully there's less change orders because of the specifications that the city wants and the bid processes. We'll have a better product at the end of the day, I really believe, by adopting this book. It's going to be really good for the city to have.
Well, it takes
compared
a
to
lot
our
of
last one, the 1980 version.
Yeah. Well, and it takes a lot of the stress off the city. We
Yeah.
didn't miss the fine points. There's the fine points.
Yeah.
I
Refer to the
like
manual.
it. So, any further discussion? Any questions, comments? Please open online voting. Thank you, Cody.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing is to approve a lease agreement. Everybody's got their hands in their pockets. Councilperson Wells.
I move to authorize the City of Rawlins Mayor Terry L. Wycombe to sign the lease agreement between the Overland Trail Cattle Company LLC and the City of Rawlins, Carbon County, Wyoming, and effective through December 31st, 2033. Said real estate is located in Carbon County, Wyoming, and more specifically described as follows: Township 16 North, Range 88 West, Section 3, Lot 22, and Township 17 North, Range 88 West, Section 7, Northwest 1, 4 SE1, 4, Section 23, NE1, 4 SE1, 4, Section 26, S1, 2, Northwest 1/4, Section 27, S1, 2, NE1, 4, SE1, 4, E1, 2, SW1, 4, Section 33, NE1, 4, Section 34, Northwest 1/4, Section 35, S1, 2, NE1, 4, S1, 2, NW1, 4, NE1, 4, NW1, 4, containing 2,360 acres, more or less.
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded, and you heard it all. So,
I'm sorry, but they listed it out so detailed that I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that I covered every section. that
oh,
we have.
for sure, it's exact property
Yes.
description, but
Sorry, Councilmember Wells.
there's just no reason to reread it, in my opinion. Discussion, Councilman Weisenberg?
I just want to clarify, when that was being read, it's as the 1/4 is quarter and half sections. So that's just clarified for public record.
Okay, any further comments? Councilman Lumen?
Like I did ask you in an email, but I wasn't sure your answered my question. So the last 10 years for this, will we be getting the same amount for the next 10 years? The state didn't increase it? Does that make sense?
Honorable Mayor, Councilman Nguyen, all that I know is that we tied it to the state rate that the state charges. And I don't know the
If the state has
specifics, if it's
increased it?
increased it.
Okay.
or not. We've just tied it to that rate, so that if the state happens to increase it, ours would automatically increase.
Okay.
Further questions? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is to approve the audit. Councilman Weisenberg.
I move to accept and place on file fiscal year 2023 financial audit report as presented by Atlas CPAs and Advisor PLLC.
Second.
Been a motion made to accept and put on file for year 2023 financial audit report as presented by Atlas CPAs and Advisor PLLC. Any discussion? Please open. Excuse me, Councilman.
So we're
Vice
clear.
Mayor Sanger.
I just want to make sure that everybody understands we're clear.
Okay.
We're both clear in the last part of the audit and in the part where they say that you have no outstanding, anything that you have done incorrectly.
Correct. So within the audit report, it is a clean opinion from the auditors. So their responsibility is to test our work to make sure that it's accurate, that it reflects accurately our financial position. So they plan their work, tested all of our numbers, and our internal controls that we have, and it is a clean opinion all the way through. There were no audit findings whatsoever reported in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job.
Any further discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is open. Online voting is closed. The motion passes with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. And I probably should have talked about this earlier. I'm going to do it now, but just for those listening online and whatnot, there are 2 positions open still for the Board of Adjustments. One term will expire January 31st, 2026, one January 31st, 2027. The shooting, Rawlins shooting ranges, there is 1 alternate position open. It's an unexpired term that will go to June 30th, 2025. Urban Systems Committee, there is 1 position open, a 1 4-year term, January 31st, 2024 to 31st, 2028. Parks and Rec Advisory Committee, there's 1 adult position, 2 middle school age positions, and 2 high school age positions. So for those that want to participate in the city government or in your city to help improve your city, consider applying for some of these board appointments. And I wish I'd have brought it up earlier, but I didn't, but that's that. And with that being said, I will adjourn this meeting. Next meeting is February 6th, same place, same time.
Oh, yeah.
I turned it on to, I swapped, I'm sorry, I turned it on. So if that works, that means I should have turned it on your phone.
Yeah, sometimes when it refreshes, I turn it on.
Yeah, I kept turning Wi-Fi on. Oh. Oh. Okay, so also you're thinking about, don't just turn off the Wi-Fi. I always stay.
I turned it off.